Happy Wednesday, Year 3, midway through the week. Today, in our multiplication division, we're looking at comparing how many times more something is. So we're going to continue using bar models and representations using bars and cubes to help us with our multiplication and division. So here's a cube. We can take two of the cubes and join them together, just like we do in class, to make a single block. And we can say the block is 2 times as long as one cube. If we joined 3 cubes together, we could say that this block of cubes is 3 times longer than a single cube. Okay, the key words are times as. It means we're scaling the cubes up in numbers. So we could have a cube block that's 5 times longer than a single cube. So that would mean there were 5 cubes, or 10 times longer than a single cube, which would mean we would have 10 cubes joined together. You can see every time we say a bigger number, the line of cubes gets longer. So we can use number rods in the same way. Here's a single rod. We can put 2 rods together, and we can say that the value, if the value of a single rod is 6, then because you've got 2 here, it would be 6 and 6, or 6 times 2. Okay, you can shout out the answer if you want. Value of the rod is 6 plus 6 equals 12, or you could change that to 6 times 2, because there's 2 rods of 6. So we can make a rod. We're calling it a rod. It's basically a bar like a bar model. We can make it any value we want. Now this looks the same size as the last one, but this time we're giving it the value 9. And we could say 2 rods of 9 are 18, and we could times that. 9 times 2 would equal 18, not 9 plus 9. Now this one, we could have 3 rods of 5. Okay, you can see it's a bit longer this time because we've got 3 of them. It's 3 times as long as a single rod, so we would do 3 times 5, which is 15. So let's say the value of one rod is 4, and we've got 2 rods here. So we've got 2 times as many rods as in this first value. We've got 2 times as many. 2 times 4, because there is a 4 underneath one rod, so we know that 2 times 4 is our answer, which equals 2 times 4. They've just changed it for us there. Oh, not 24. They've just changed it there to the symbol of times, obviously. We know that we don't write times every time we draw a little cross, and that equals 8. We'll do one more. We've got a 2 here, and we've got 3 of them. We've got 3 lots of 2, so we know it's 3 times 2, which is 3 times 2 with the symbol, and 3 times 2 is 6. Okay, I'm not going to do the next one, but remember, if you're doing the lesson and you want to do the next one, that's great. Now, let's turn the problem around. If we're saying turning the problem around, we're talking about the opposite of multiplication. I hope you all know that it's talking about division. So if we know the value of 2 rods joined together, how can we find the value of a single rod? We need to divide it by 2. So let's say this rod is 16. We want to know the value of the single rod. Therefore, we would do 16 divided by 2 to get the value. And 16 divided by 2 is 8. You could work that out again by going 8 plus 8. Does that equal 16? You can work backwards, use the inverse to check your answer. 8 plus 8 would equal 16, so you know you've got the right answer. 16 divided by 2 is 8, and we know 2 times 8 is 16, so we've got the right answer. Here, we've got 3 rods, which are 18. Okay, not just 2 rods 18, 3 rods are 18. So we need to work out the value of 1 by doing 18 divided by 3. And we know that 18 divided by 3 is 6, and you can work out the converse because we know that 3 times 6 equals 18. So, your turn. You can pause the screen and try this, and I will go through it. The value of a whole rod is 10. What's the value of a single rod? So, we've got 10, because the biggest number always goes at the beginning in a division. And we can see that the 10 is in 2 lots. So we're looking for 1 lot, so we need to divide it by 2. And 10 divided by 2 equals 5. One more. We've got 25 as our total line. Okay, we're looking for 1, 25, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we're split into 5, so we need to divide 25 by 5, and 25 divided by 5 is 5. I'm not going to do the last one, you can if you want to. So, look at these ideas using bar models. Here's a bar with 8 parts. We're going to label this bar with a value of 80. How do we find the value of 1 part? Okay, so we've got a whole bar, which is 80. We want to find 1 part, and we know it's split into 8 parts. So 1 part would be 80 divided by 8. And we know that that equals 10, because we know our 10 times table. This bar is 8. We want to find the value 3 times bigger than 8. So we're going to draw a bar that's 3 times as long with 3 parts. And if we know 1 part's 8, we know we want to do 8 plus 8 plus 8, which is the equivalent of 8 times 3. And we know that is 24. So we're going to match the bar models to the number sentences. I've got 3 times 3 equals 9, 4 times 10 equals 40, 10 times 8 equals 80. I'm going to first look at this one, because it's the first one. We've got 1 lot of 10, and we're looking for 4 lots of 10. So I know that's 10 times 4, or 4 times 10. Here we've got 1 lot of 3, and we're timesing it by 3 to get 3 lots of 3. So I know that would be 3 times 3, which equals 9. And here we've got 1 lot of 8, and we can see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 lots of it. So it's 10 times 8. Okay, we won't go through this question, we'll move on. So Phoebe's garden has a cherry tree and an oak tree. The cherry tree is 9 meters tall. The oak tree is 3 times taller than the cherry tree. So how tall is the oak tree? Let's show the heights of the tree in a bar model. Bar models don't have to be across, they can be upwards. So here is the height of the cherry tree, and we know that the oak tree is 3 times as tall as the cherry tree. Now sometimes it might be easier to have the bar models lying flat. And we know we can name the names of the trees. We've got the cherry tree and the oak tree. We know that the cherry tree is 9 meters tall. So therefore we know that to find the oak tree we need 9, 9, 9, which would be 9 times 3. And that would equal 27. Lola has £1. Jamie has 3 times as much as Lola. So how much money does Jamie have? We need to label the bar models. Now we know Jamie has more money than Lola, so Jamie must have the longer bar. And we know he has 3 times as many, and there's 1, 2, 3 there. So Lola has the shorter bar. We know that Lola has £1, so I'm going to type in 1. And if we know 1 bar is 1, then we know Jamie has 1, 1, 1. And we all know that 1 plus 1 plus 1, or 1 times 3, will give us 3. And therefore, we know Jamie has £3. You can type it in here as well. We'll do one more of this one. Damon is 11 years old. Alexis is 4 times as old as Damon. So how old is Alexis? Now we don't. Damon is the younger one and Alexis is the older one. Therefore, Alexis is going to have more parts on his bar. And Damon is going to have the shorter bar. Now we know that Damon is 11 years old, so I can type in 11 for the 1 bar. And we know Alexis has 11, 11, 11, and 11. 4 times 11. And we all know that 4 times 11 would equal 44. So Alexis must be 44 years old, very old. Oh, got to type it in here too. Okay. Now, if you want to do the next ones, you can. I'm going to move on. Tanya takes 8 minutes to get to school in the morning. Joe takes 56 minutes to get to school in the morning. How many times longer is Joe's journey than Tanya's journey? Now, I hope you realise that we can't do 8 times 56 because we're not looking for a bigger number. We're looking at the difference between these numbers, looking at how much longer it takes Joe, how many more times longer it takes Joe, how many more times longer. So we can see that Tanya's journey is this long and Joe's journey is this long. We know that Tanya's journey is 8 and Joe's journey is 56. So we need to see how much longer our bottom bar is compared to our top bar, how much longer Joe's journey is, how many times longer Joe's journey is than Tanya's. So to work that out, we need to know how many times does 8 go into 56. And the easiest way to do that is a division. 56 divided by 8. And 56 divided by 8 is 7. So Joe's journey is 7 times longer than Tanya's. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, one more. Tia has £70. Radley has £10. How many times as much money does Tia have? So we know Tia has 70 and Radley has 10. So we know that Radley must have the smaller column with £10 and Tia must have the longer column with £70. She's got a lot of money there. So we know that to work out how many times more money Tia has than Radley, we need to do 70 divided by 10. And 70 divided by 10 would be 7. So Morgan goes to the zoo and visits a leopard, a monkey and a penguin. The mass of the penguin is 45 kilograms. That's the weight of the penguin. The penguin's mass is 5 times as much as the mass of the monkey. The leopard's mass is 3 times as much as the mass of the monkey. Okay, now seems a lot of steps here. It's a 2-step problem. First thing we need to do is find out the monkey's mass, and then we can find out the leopard's mass. So, the mass of the monkey. The penguin's mass is 5 times as much as the monkey's mass, and the penguin's mass is 45. So that means the penguin is 5 times heavier than the monkey. So we can draw a bar model. Penguin is this long, and it's 45 for representing the bar. And we know that the mass of the penguin is 5 times more. So we split it into 5. So 1 part of 45 would be 45 divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 45 divided by 5. And we know that that is 9. So now we know that the mass of the monkey is 9 kilograms. Now, we need to work out the mass of the leopard. We know that the monkey's mass is 9. Just work that out. And the leopard's mass is 3 times as much as the monkey's mass. So we can see the monkey's mass is 9 and the mass of the leopard is equal to 3 parts. Therefore, we're not going to do a division because we know that the leopard is heavier than the monkey. We're going to do a multiplication. 9 times 3 is 27. So the mass of the leopard is 27. If you need to go back in the video and watch that again because I went through it very quickly, please do. And if you want to write down how it was worked out, you can. Finally, we have a question for you. You can pause it and try it on a piece of paper, drawing your bar models, and then see if you got it right. Or you can go through it with me. Sasha goes to an aquarium and sees a seal pup, a crab, and an octopus. The mass of the seal pup is 16 kilograms. The mass of the seal pup is 4 times as much as the mass of the crab. Okay, now I'm not even going to look at this now because I know I'm going to need to work out the mass of the crab. I know the crab's smaller than the seal pup. I know it's 4 times smaller. So I need to do 16 divided by 4. So I know that the crab is 4 kilograms. The seal pup is 16 kilograms. The crab is 4 kilograms. The mass of the octopus is 3 times as much as the mass of the crab. So I know, because I know the crab is 4 kilograms, I know that the octopus is 3 times more than this. So I need to do 4 times 3, and the mass of the octopus will be 12 kilograms. Hope you enjoyed today's lesson. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow.